question a lot. I think we've got to back up and focus on something really important and foundational, that any great marriage is always built on friendship. I shared the story of a couple that I've got to know for a long time. They've been married 60 years, and I sat them down at a wedding for somebody else. I said, hey, what's the key to your marriage? And they were really simple. They said, to love Jesus with all your heart, have a lot of fun, and really communicate very well. And part of what I saw in that was that they trusted each other a tremendous amount. And that was pivotal in this whole conversation.
Yeah, definitely. What we have to recognize is that after we get married and we start to have different kinds of friendships, and in that, that's unavoidable, but we have to be willing to look at what is the context of these friendships. Is this a friend that you've had for years and years and years? Is this a new business relationship? Is this somebody you've just met on social media? All those factors kind of play into the type of friendship and relationship you're having. And I think it's also important to recognize that in that we have to really be able to communicate with our spouse and take their opinion and know how comfortable are you with this relationship.
Yeah.
And I have to know that he's going to see things about my friendships that maybe I don't see, because just as a man, he sees things differently. And I will do the same for him. And we have to be willing to have those conversations and talk to each other about it.
Yeah, that verse we talked about, 1 Thessalonians 5:22, says to flee all appearance of evil. And there's that gray area where you go, what is right, what is wrong? And no one can clarify that for you. However, if we're running away, if we know is evil and our spouse is helping us, that puts us in a really good place. And even Hollywood is recognizing this. Right now, there's this whole Me Too movement that's been going on. And Hollywood is putting parameters into place to fix things that have been broken for 50, 60 years. So it's not just a Christian idea that there are boundaries. That's a very well-recognized idea. But the other thing I would say is this spills over into social media and the texting, and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and whatever other social media platform. And there's a hidden nature of all that that's really important to address, that we have to talk about.
Right. It's always important to make sure that your spouse is knowledgeable and feels confident in the relationships you have. I always want to be able to hand him my phone or any social media platform and say, hey, you can see whatever's going on, and we know that we're priority to each other, and then everything else comes after that. And if he's not comfortable with something or vice versa, then I have to be willing to give a little, and him also to say, hey, we can sacrifice for each other to put our friendship first, and then everything else can come after that.
Yeah, and that's that 1 Corinthians 13 kind of love that says love is going to not seek its own. It's going to sacrifice and lay its life down. So we may not always agree on that, but ultimately I laid my rights down when I got married and said, hey, I'm yours and you're mine, and so if you see something, I will sacrifice that because I want to be that couple in 60 years that can say, hey, it's really simple and it was a lot of fun, but we were sacrificing for each other. So I think that's super important, this conversation.